We begin with the aftermath of yesterday's federal by-election in Toronto and a Liberal loss that has some questioning the Prime Minister's future. St. Paul's was considered a safe seat for the party, one that it held for decades. Now in a dramatic upset, it's in Conservative hands. Last hour, Justin Trudeau addressed the defeat at an event in Vancouver.
This was obviously not the result we wanted, but I want to be clear that I hear people's concerns and frustrations. These are not easy times, and it's clear that I and my entire Liberal team have much more work to do to deliver tangible, real progress that Canadians across the country can see and feel. We'll never stop working and fighting to make sure that people have what they need to get through these tough times. My focus is on your success, and that's where it's going to stay.
CBC's Kate McKenna joins us live from Ottawa with more on the implications of this seat flip. An interesting choice of words there, Kate, from the Prime Minister saying that the party's focus will stay where it is. The question is, though, will he stay where he is? What are you hearing on that front today?
Well, as much as this is a win for the Conservatives, it is also a crushing blow for the Liberals. And Justin Trudeau didn't take questions in that availability he just had not too long ago. But he can expect questions in the coming days, weeks, and months about whether or not he is the person who should be taking the Liberal Party into the next federal election. And that's because, as was mentioned, Toronto St. Paul's is one of the safest Liberal seats, or was one of the safest Liberal seats in the country. Now there is a real puncture in the Liberals' fortress in Toronto, and so people will be questioning whether or not his leadership is the leadership that's required if the Liberals are to win. If they're to do well in the next federal election. Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland was asked earlier today, and she said that she continues to support Justin Trudeau.
The Prime Minister is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. Our whole government is focused on delivering for Canada and Canadians. That's what we're going to continue to do. The result in St. Paul's is certainly disappointing. We knew it was going to be a hard fight. We know that these are hard times for Canadians. We know that we have to work hard to earn back their trust, and we know that the way to do that is by delivering for them.
So the Liberals who have spoken publicly so far today have presented that sort of united front, saying they stand by their leader. But we are about a year out from a general election, and people inside the Liberal caucus will be thinking, do I want to reoffer? Do I want to go into another campaign after 9 years of the Liberals being in power? And you have to assume that a riding that was considered safe no longer being safe might factor into their calculus. We had heard murmurs in the past of potential succession plans or leadership campaigns among different Liberals who might want the job were it to become open. Now we might be hearing that in a more open, more public way. And of course, if that discussion becomes more public, as it did in the Chrétien Martin years, that's a genie that's hard to put back in the bottle, and that could spell even more trouble for these Liberals.
So from the Conservatives' perspective here, to be able to flip this seat, you know, what else is possible? How can they build on this momentum?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, we were speaking to Conservatives last night who, you know, they were counting the votes and they didn't think that they'd won. So for some, this is sure to be a surprise. But one thing is clear, Pierre Poilievre is on the offensive. We saw last week he chose to go to Quebec when the House of Commons adjourned, you know, looking to Quebec to pick up some potential seats. And Quebec, for the modern Conservatives, has been a challenge. They've never really managed to get a real foothold in that province. But Pierre Poilievre clearly making that a priority in his summer tour. As for what other seats are available, for them, it's not clear. There were already discussions about suburban ridings, such as the 905, as being possibly in play. But when you have a riding like Toronto St. Paul's going blue, that kind of potentially changes the calculus. And of course, one thing that the Liberals have to fight against is what pollsters are increasingly saying is a desire for change. People want to change the government, and they're running up against a communications wall when it comes to getting their message out there because people are just done. They have to find a way to turn that around. And in the meantime, Pierre Poilievre will probably continue to do what he's been doing, which is focusing mostly on affordability, trying to position himself as the leader who is most likely to make life more affordable for Canadians, many of whom are really feeling the crunch right now.
Okay, Kate, thanks so much. That's the CBC's Kate McKenna in Ottawa.